Hello, I'm Neal, the producer of Making Conversations Count, the weekly podcast hosted by telemarketing trainer and expert Wendy Harris from WAG Associates. You can catch it at makingconversationscount.com. Recently, Wendy released an episode about using lazy marketing, which, honestly, music to my ears. Anything that can help me with my marketing and facilitate my laziness is a win for me. In case you missed it, it featured Tepper, a marketing consultant with a difference. Here's a clip of the episode to refresh your memory.
And so when you're an MD and you're focused on bringing in money because you've got to pay your bills, marketing seems like it's going to take too long, because if you don't know how to do it and you don't know how to move quickly, yeah, it would take long. Of course it would. If I tried to engineer a plane, it would take me forever. Whereas if I just went to an engineering company and know how to build planes, a couple of weeks, they've got the blueprints already.
So now we've all heard it, let's carry on the conversation about using lazy marketing. That was what sort of struck me about this, is this would be a good one to sort of warn small business owners about just going with an agency by default and actually working with someone like Al, who can give you a bit more of that customized, bespoke advice.
Yeah, I would say that the point that he makes is that when you look at your marketing strategy yourself, you look at it very much from an internal point of view.
Yeah.
And you almost overthink it to the what is expected of me rather than what you need to be doing. It's that separation, isn't it, of yourself with who you are and what your customers get. I know I can advise everybody else, do it myself. It's much harder. That's the point, isn't it? In this episode, it's how to attack it. And the how-to really is that often you need to get that help from somebody else.
You need to be able to know how to identify the people that can help you rather than just working with anybody that says they can help you. And that is, I think, what's really interesting about the way that Al positions himself is he's being honest with you. And he's saying from the beginning, I don't care who I work with, as long as they can trust me to do what I do, then that's it. That's a good fit. And I think that is really important because, what's one of the biggest things that you see on social media is we can do this, we can do that, but they don't actually give you much in the way of why you would want to trust them in particular over the other 9,750 people that do that job.
I've always said that marketing's like the invisible cost. It goes out of your account in money and it's sometimes not very measurable. And what we see on social media is, I've helped somebody do this. Well, how? What's the proof? I want to see the proof. Because they listened to me and did this, this is what happened. That's what I want. I want X plus Y equals Z. It's simple. Who doesn't want to do it the right way for the right results? This is kind of my 4R formula in marketing. And you know what? I'm pretty lazy about it too. So come on, let's lead into doing the stuff that we know we want to be doing, which is what we're good at, and let the people that are good at something else do that, because together it's great.
Collaboration. This is the thing, isn't it? It's knowing when to collaborate and when to control. And that is what I loved about what he said, where
the biggest single reason why small businesses fail to turn into medium businesses is because entrepreneurs fail to let go.
No.
So what happens is it falls apart around them because they can't do everything and they get so busy, things fall apart. So lazy marketing, when you think about it from a marketing context, what it does is it says, imagine if we could make you not just a business leader, but a better marketing leader.
We are not all brilliant at everything. It's so true. So true.
Yeah, I'm not an accountant. Don't want to be. Don't trust me with your money. An old client did say, I can trust Wendy with my money because she treats it like her own. But ultimately, we've got to stop overthinking what everybody else is doing and come back to the what is best for me. And then trusting that gut feeling, that intuition, that it feels right. That's when you need to make the move. If you're still thinking, well, do you know, I don't know, stop doing it. It's like my husband says to me, well, if you don't know whether that dress looks right, it obviously doesn't. Don't get it. Don't waste your time on it because you're going to regret it later.
That's really interesting, actually. And I want to take it back home to Wendy Wu as well with this question, because I think this is a really important one. Obviously, behind the scenes, you and I talk all the time about, oh, this new channel's come about, this new channel's come about, oh, look at that new channel. We do tend to have a lot of back and forth emails where you'll say, this new app's just launched and they've asked me to add my show to it. And what is it that I always say to you, Wendy? I always say, well, you know, it's app number 400 in that space. And I think, for me, I'm wondering whether that sort of resonated with you when he sort of said about, you don't, I mean, they all say, don't they? Every single person we've spoken to on the show so far at some point has said a version of, you don't need to be everywhere. However, he was quite clear about it when he was saying about lazy marketing. Do less, get more. And I wonder if that was something that, when he said that, made you think, maybe I don't need a verbal account. Maybe I don't need to be on Fireside Chat, which seems to be quite common in the podcasting space. These new apps that come about every sort of week.
There are lots, aren't there? I mean, personally, for marketing, I love LinkedIn for what I do in my real world day job. But I've also realised that the podcast sits better in another social media platform, which is Instagram. So ultimately, I've got to be in two places, but for two completely different reasons. And it's being able to identify that and say, you know, it's like people used to say, well, you can post the same thing on every channel, but you've got to write it differently for Facebook. You've got to write it differently for Instagram. You've got to write it differently for LinkedIn because they're all different audiences. Well, actually, that's rubbish because we're all people connecting with people. It just doesn't matter where you hang out, but you need to be hanging out where the people you want to hear it are. And that's what's made me go, do you know what? So actually I need to be there and there. For fear of missing out, I will broadcast it everywhere else, but that takes me virtually no time at all. And because there's really little engagement there, it doesn't take me any time to manage it either. So I don't worry about that. But I think there's a lot of fear of missing out on something just because it might happen. No, stick to where it's going to happen. It's frustrating. You know, we all have our own frustrations on marketing, don't we? You know, so it does take time. It does take effort. It does take a strategy. So if you're not doing it and you don't do it, does the sky fall in? No. What can I say? You know, it's a chicken licking moment, isn't it? You know, maybe it's because I'm about to go on holiday and I'm just going to just drop everything and go, living the dream. You know, no social media channels, you know, it's all taken care of. But it's good to unplug as well.
Obviously, what's really quite awesome about this episode with Al Tepper is that you've got a lovely giveaway. He's really helping you. If you listen to the episode, and I strongly, again, urge that you do, listen to the full thing because there's so much insightful knowledge in there about marketing and about where you should be spending your marketing budget and who you should be talking to about spending your marketing budget and how you can really be your own marketing boss, essentially. But he's actually helping you because he's giving you a scorecard on the resources page. So very strongly urge you to go to makingconversationscount.com. And, you know, is it worth people reaching out, do you think, Wendy, to Al directly and sort of saying, do you know what, let's carry on that conversation?
Absolutely. And he has, if you take that scorecard, at the end of that scorecard, he gives you his personal mobile so that you can WhatsApp him. And he will then reply with the one best tip based on your scorecard for you to actually go away and put in practice. That's amazing.
That is amazing. And it's a perfect example of some lazy marketing as well.
Yeah, get somebody else to do it for you so that you can just go, right, here's the instructions. That's all I've got to do. Well, how hard was that?
So there you go. That was the episode all about using lazy marketing. Make sure you check out all the other recent episodes, makingconversationscount.com. click the button that says episodes. You'll be able to find everything, including conversations about marketing, sales, mindset, you name it, it's all in there. If you're listening to this in Apple Podcasts, click the 3 dots at the top right of your screen and select follow. That way, you'll never miss an episode once it's released, including these Carrying On the Conversations clips. While you're at it, why not click the write a review button as well? Every single comment we get really helps the podcast. So, look forward to Shaheen's episode on Thursday, released in your favorite podcast app first thing in the morning. In the meantime, enjoy making those conversations count.